Okay, so hear me out because what I'm about to say is total bro science. But if you're the kind of guy who likes being in a routine, I think this will make you even more motivated to stay really, really disciplined on the routine. Waking up at the same time, going to sleep at the same time, eating the same meals, working at the same time. You know, the autistic, like monk mode self improvement lifestyle. So, this is the argument I want to present to you, right? Our nervous system has not changed from the caveman days. You agree with that, right? Like evolution takes millions of years. So we are still basically the same from 100,000 years ago. And imagine what a human body would have thought or felt or responded to when there was variety. Imagine a caveman, right? His nervous system, his mind would be very stable and would be very calm and feel like he was safe if he was in a routine, if he was eating at the same time, hunting at the same time, eating the same foods. Because that would kind of show to his body and to his mind that the current area he's in, the current lifestyle he's in, is consistent and it's abundant with food and game and whatever he needs, right? Like he has all of his needs met. That's gonna what's the word? It's gonna calm down his regulate his. That's gonna regulate his nervous system. If this caveman moves around and changes his routine, if he starts to change his diet, if his the time that he goes to sleep changes, what's his nervous system gonna think? Oh shit, we're on the move. Like that safe place that we were at before, oh, it's run out of food. Like we're back to being in the wild and we need to keep ready. Spike him up full of cortisol, get him ready for a fight, stress him out. Don't focus on like anti-aging or those kinds of things. Get him ready for a fight because he must be constantly on the move since the food he's eating is changing, the time that he's sleeping is changing, the time that he's hunting is changing. Is it crazy for me to suggest that variety is actually terrible for human beings and maybe for animals like as a whole? Because everyone else, especially doctors, have always said the same thing, which is like you should have variety in life. You should eat a variety of fruits and vegetables and a balanced diet. How do you feel when you eat a meal that's different? Like I eat the same meals every single day at the same time. If I eat a meal that's different, not even unhealthy, not even junk food, but it's just different, I feel worse. But everyone has told me that you should eat like a variety of fruits and vegetables, and you should have like the full rainbow color of vegetables, and you should eat different things every day to hit all the micronutrients. But I always feel worse when I do that. Always, like without a doubt, 100% of the time, when I don't eat the exact same meals, when I have like a different meal, I always feel worse. Even if that new meal is actually kind of still healthy and, it could be the new thing that kind of replaces one of the meals that I usually have. If you're curious, I have like steak and eggs and sourdough bread twice a day with like milk and stuff like that. So it's interesting because every time I slightly change my routine, I always feel worse, even though I can't be the only one. You have this weird idea that like variety and changing things up every now and then is like a good thing, like experimenting and going to sleep late one night or changing what you eat. We feel like those are good things for some reason, but does that not reflect the stressful time of our caveman ancestors when, for example, the same food that they would usually eat ran out? And now they have to move around and basically enter back into like stressful PvP mode. What if routine and being so consistent with the routine, like I'm talking 7 days a week, 365 days a year, same meal, same bedtime, same training time. What if that is actually the ultimate way for peak health, for peak performance? You probably agree with me, don't you? But then here's a advanced point. I think we've kind of covered the thing I wanted to say, which is like, yeah, stick to the routine and don't falter from the routine just because people tell you that like variety is a good thing, or you should change your diet and make sure you hit every micronutrient, and you should change the time that you sleep so that you can have like one day a week you can stay up late, it's fine, it's only 1 hour a day or whatever. Then the only question we have now is like, okay, but what about fun? Let's say that Hamza's right and autistic 100% routine is better for performance and health. But when do you get to have fun? When do you get to have, the one meal that is off? When do you get to, have the fun where you can stay up and have that surprise dopamine night with you and your girlfriend or something? And to that, I think this again is going to require a bit of a mental rewiring. Are cheat meals fun? Like, I know your favorite fitness influencer says to have cheat meals, but by the way, that's just because most of their audience are like pussies. And so they have to be nice and say to like the masses, like, yeah, like if you follow me, you can still have sugar and stuff. But are cheat meals fun? Overall, if you imagine a month of your life, imagine the month where you've ate the exact same meal for the entire month every single time and you feel fucking incredible. You literally are boasting to people that you feel like this is the best health you've ever had in your life. That's option one. Option number two, you optimize for fun and you have a cheat meal a couple days a week, maybe even one day a week. You go get some French toast or some shit. You get some ice cream, some sugar. Your stomach hurts a little bit from it, but the taste is super pleasurable. And you even make it more fun by going with someone, so it's a bit of a social thing. Now, you've had more fun in the second option, but when we zoom out and look at that month as a whole, which month would you conclude was better? The first one, and here's what's really weird about it. Which month would you say you had more fun in? For some weird reason, I hope you can understand me, I would still say the first one. Even though I had fun and pleasure in the second one, overall, because I'm not subhuman, I can see the consequences of my actions. And that changes my perspective of that time that I've had. Did you get what I'm getting at here? Sometimes fun is actually not fun. Like, it's fun in the moment, but then how we perceive that time of our lives, like that sort of scope of 1 week or a month or a year, is not fun. Like, for example, imagine back to the last time that you were like addicted to video games and you were jacking off and you were watching porn and you were eating junk food. That was a very stimulating, pleasurable, fun period of time, right? Right? Like, think back to the last time you had like, I don't know, you were addicted to some video game. That was you did fun things. But then why, when you look back to that period of time, do you not actually see it as a fun memory, but rather are actually really negative memory? Because you are not subhuman as well. Because you have the mental maturity, maybe it's like a triple digit IQ, where you can look back and perceive bad habits and bad behavior and a lack of character as a bad time, even though you were doing pleasurable things, right? Sex is fun. Sticking your dick in something and then in someone and then clapping cheeks is fun. Let's say you get a random girl pregnant and your mother is fucking screaming at you. Your dad's fucking like coming at you with his fist. He's about to knock you out or something because you're quite young and it's just so stupid. Was that night fun? If you look back to the night that you clapped some cheeks, would you still perceive it as a fun night? No, because you're an intelligent young man who understands the consequences of his actions. So all of this is to say that routine doesn't seem like a fun thing. It doesn't seem that if we stay so strict on our routine and we eat the same meals every single day, like I'm not saying, 80% of the days, I'm not saying 90% of the days, I'm literally saying 30 days a fucking month, right? 7 days a week, over and over and over again. That seems like we kind of know it's better for us. We know for a fact that's better for our goals. We just undeniably know that. The only argument against living like that is that variety can be fun. But I've just kind of proven to you, hopefully, because I assume you kind of like have similar values or a mindset to me, that the fun of variety is actually not fun at all. In a weird way, it is the routine that is fun. Like, when I look back over January of this year, I went on 0 dates. I drank 0 alcohol. The latest I was awake was 8:55 p.m. I went to bed between 8 and 8:55. every single night of that month. Basically, it was around 8:20 that my little alarm would go off, and I'd like start getting ready for bed. And then some nights, you don't fall asleep for like 20 minutes when you're like lying down or something. But I fell asleep before 9 p.m. every single day of that month. I trained twice a day for about 5 to 6 days a week, every single day of January. Would you like, to a normal person, they would think that's like a miserable month. Can you imagine how I think about January 2025? I smile and I'm like, that was such a fun month. What's beautiful about the fun of routine is that it stays. The fun of routine, like the pleasure of routine and discipline, stays. January is gone, but I still feel the pleasure of it now. I feel the fun of it because I did the good things and not the bad things. If January was a month of like degenerate instant gratification fun, I would have had more pleasure, more dopamine in that month. Imagine if I whored, I fucked, I stayed up late, I drank and all that. I would have had more stimulating fun, but it would be a negative story for me to tell you right now, like a negative perception of how the month went. Do you understand like this weird concept that we're in, where guys like us thrive under a boring routine that the masses think is boring? But for us, in a weird way, it's actually really fun because I'm telling you, it's because we're not subhuman. I'm telling you, it's because we're just fucking normal, healthy humans. And us not poisoning ourselves is, of course, the better path. And everyone else who literally poison themselves, which at that point, I can't even think that they're like human beings. They have to be subhumans if a person willingly poisons themselves with like alcohol and smoking and staying up late and scrolling and porn and all the things they know are bad for them. Right? So I'm aiming this video particularly at the type of person who likes routine, but has not been 100% on it. Because that's how I've been over the last few years, apart from like a good year or so here and there. I have always stuck to like relatively a routine, but I've always been kind of okay with breaking the routine. And I'm telling you, it's that last 10-20%. The routine that you break with your diet, your bedtime and everything. You slightly change the time, you change the time that you train, whatever. You have like a 10-20% variance. I'm telling you, that last 10 to 20% makes such a big difference. Be autistic. I want you to seem like such a fucking weirdo to the subhumans who poison themselves. They should be looking at you thinking like, oh, I bet his life is so boring. He goes to sleep at the same time. Whereas you look at yourself thinking, wow, like this is the best my health has ever been. I feel so grateful to be able to say that. If you've watched a lot of my videos, that's what I say about January. I've just had the best stats of my entire I've been tracking my health using like an Aura ring for 5 years straight, and that was the best month I've ever had because my actions were there. I went to bed at the same time every single night. I did not even stay up past 9 p.m. once. I woke up at the same time every single morning, like a half an hour variance based on like sometimes you just wake up before your alarm. How fucking awesome is it that that's the things that we find fun? That has ended. Like, just can you understand how important this is? That month has ended and I'm still having fun because of it. The moment that the subhumans swallow the ice cream or the chocolate, or they finish scrolling, or they finish the series that they watch on Netflix, the fun is gone and all they're left with is the consequences of their actions. But when you finish with a day of your routine, the fun stays. You just accumulate. It's like investing. You just accumulate and compound the fun, even though that day, that grind is gone. Like when you work out today, you have a fun time because working out is fun. But when you work out today, tomorrow is more fun because you're more muscular and strong. Like, does this not blow anyone else's mind? So the real root to fun and pleasure is not fun and pleasure, but it's discipline and grit and routine. So stick to your routine. Think of your caveman ancestors. Variety was not good for them. It would stress them out. I think this is why many of us have some symptoms of like sickness and lethargy, tiredness, even like gut problems. Sometimes your shits are kind of like looser. Every time you have like a cheat meal, you have a bit of a stomach ache or something, because you're not supposed to have variety. Now, I'm just the bro scientist. All the scientists disagree with me, but none of them are as fit as I am. All the scientists out there tell you to eat a variety of fruits and vegetables, and that seed oils are okay, and that you can I don't know. 99% of doctors are just fucking fraud, little fat bastards, bro. So I'm a bro scientist. Maybe you shouldn't listen to me if you're a narc who needs to like show me the studies. I'm assuming that kind of person isn't watching my content. I'm just a guy who experiments on himself, and I report it to you what's been happening with me. And I'm telling you, 100% adherence to the routine has been miles better than 80%. So let this be a lesson for you. If right now you're pretty hardcore on your routine, more than everyone else, nice. But I'm telling you, you're probably not at 100% right now. You might think you go to sleep at the same time. I'm telling you, you need to be going to sleep within like a 10-minute window. Like at the very least, you don't need to fall asleep, because that feels like, random sometimes. But the kind of time that you get into bed needs to be the same time. I've had a 10-minute window for the last month that I get into bed at 8:30. 10-minute window over an entire month. There's been some times where I don't sleep for like 25 minutes. Of course, that happens, right? And there's been some times that my alarm is 6 a.m., but there's been some times I wake up at like 5:10 or some shit like that. That's fine. That happens. Sometimes you can't control that. But was your actions good? I'm talking 100%, okay? The same meal for a month straight. The same meals, just eat the same fucking things. And it's so weird, because you just, if someone's watching this thinking like, that's just so boring. I'm telling you, just do it for a month and you'll realize, like, for a weird reason, it's more fun than having the cheat meals. It's more fun than having the variety. The routine is more fun than actually having fun. I can't be the only person who feels like this. And I'm telling you, most likely you're at 80%. So let this be your little warning or your message right now. Scale that up to 100 for the next week. Go autistic mode. Same meals, same bedtime, same wake up time, same training time, by like a 10-minute window. So you stop working in the morning. Let's say you're like working on a business. You stop working at the exact same time within a 10-minute window. You're inside of the gym. Get that autistic with your routine, and I guarantee after a few days, you're just going to get this weird flow state. You're going to feel like you're in a flow for the rest of the day. Like when I was back home and I was more into weightlifting, I would go to the gym at the same time with the same friend over and over and over again, till eventually after like a week or two, it's like you're in this like flow that when I'd come home, it's like my brain knew what to do. With my bag, I'd open it mindlessly, knowing, okay, this is where this thing goes, this is where this thing goes. You pack your bag so quickly because you've done it at the same times over and over again. You've got that routine, which is just so healthy. And I was noticing my PRs were going up so much faster than usual, because I think that my nervous system was thinking like, oh yeah, he's in a very abundant, very safe, very consistent environment right now. Why would you want to stimulate your nervous system or like stress it out to make it think like, oh yeah, like shit, like there's so many different types of food. He was eating that type of food, but he's not anymore. That means that like, that meat or whatever is not available. Fuck, okay, pump him full of cortisol. Oh, he was going to sleep at like 9, but today he went to sleep at 11. Pump him full of cortisol. He might have been getting chased by something. Like, why stress it out? Why not calm your nervous system, the caveman ancestor, to make him think, yep, everything is good here? Because for our cavemen, if everything was good, if the food was abundant, the partners, like the mates, was abundant, the environment was safe, I think they would have had 100% routine. I don't think our caveman ancestors would have just packed up and left an environment in which there was an abundance of food. I think that stress only came from these external factors in which we had to get off routine. I think that when we are in a routine, we very much stabilize. I'm not going to edit this video, so you just have to believe me about this. If I showed you my health stats over the last month, you would be thinking, holy shit, I didn't even realize you could make that much progress in a month. My resting heart rate has always been 55, 54, 56, around that. It was like 53 in December. It went down to 48 in January. It's the first time I've seen my monthly heart rate go like this. like that. Like it's just straight fucking down. And my average heart rate now is in the 40s for the first time in my life. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of cardio, but I've been doing a lot of cardio even months before this as well. It's plummeted this quickly. My total sleep skyrocketed. REM sleep, deep sleep skyrocketed. My restfulness, HRV, those kinds of things skyrocketed. All I've done is just try and stick to the routine for that last like 20%. That variance that I would give myself, that cheat meal that I'd have 2-3 times a week, I've just completely avoided it. And I'm telling you right now, I'm having more fun than ever. So I hope this helps you. Just stick to the routine like the 100%. And I really think you're going to notice and you're going to think, holy shit, Hamza was right. Like that last 20% really fucking helped me. If this sounds like your kind of channel, obviously you can subscribe. Link in the description. You can join the advanced brotherhood if you want to be surrounded with guys who actually are like this, because it's very hard to find other guys who are on this path, who are as serious as we are on the path of growth. So you might want to join the brotherhood if you can afford to do so. Take care.